Hello everybody, Panzerpenguin here from World War II forums. Despite the popular, and by popular I mean the one person who has put some input in on this, having just made 2 short videos of a campaign, things did not go very well by attacking Carthage early. I barely scraping the barrel as far as income. Barely able to have a army at, I don't know, 65% full strength, 12 to 14 out of the 20 possible units. And while I was able to destroy Syracuse and the Carthaginian Lilybaeum city, as you'll see here in a minute, without fighting an army, the Carthaginians countered by sending 2 full stack armies. And yeah, there are some elephants involved, so we'll just leave it at that. So, as you can see by the screen right here, I'm playing the Dividi et Imperia. I can't pronounce Latin. I'm terrible. I can pronounce stuff in my head, but not when I speak. I have a little bit of a speech problem, which you may notice from time to time. I noticed recently down here these little tabs, and I don't know if it changes the actual game. It does change the splash screen, which is kind of cool. I don't believe it has any effect. I love the Spartan look, so I may do a Spartan or Greek game after this one if you guys are interested. Obviously, this is the Roman one. Not very nice looking if you ask me. The white just isn't the same. So we'll do a grand campaign. As you can see, there are also some mini campaigns, which I'll just show you real quick. I guess I can't change things, but it's much more focused. So we will do the grand campaign. As you can see here, there are a lot of factions you can play as, or I guess cultures would be the correct term. For the Romans and Carthaginians, they do then have different houses to be. We're going to go with the Julia of Julius Caesar. While if you look at some of these other ones, you see more than just one faction. So Arveni they're the classic Gaul. While these other ones are all what's the term I'm looking for? Minor factions, I should suppose. The Galatae, or the however you want to pronounce it, they're pretty interesting if you read this. They're a Gallic tribe, basically some Celts who settled in the middle of Turkey, and it's interesting to play as them because everybody around you has a different culture than you, so it's very hard to expand easily. Some of these, this guy's all the way over there. So we'll go back to Rome. I mean, why not? Who doesn't like Rome? Victory conditions, gotta control those, maintain 180 units, yada yada yada. Economic victory or cultural victory. Many different ways. I don't think I've actually ever completed a Rome campaign before. It seems cool little artwork. However, do not expect our Romans to look like these Romans. The Romans do not start out looking that way. Some military reforms, which we'll see as we play through this game. They basically, replace the spears with the gladius, and then the later ones are more of the arms and armor, like you see in this picture, along with those siege weapons, which are all coming. I believe once those reforms happen as well, you can see under the guy's arm over there. Yes, I know I am Rome. Alright, so here's the map. This is the campaign map. Obviously, areas I don't control are in the fog of war. The plan on the forum had been to go through the boot of Italy, take out Syracuse and Lilybaeum, but as I just discovered, that did not work out very well. But, to compromise, I think I will take out Syracuse and then not go to war with Carthage, even though they probably won't like being my neighbor like that. And while that doesn't give me the access to the iron coming out of Lilybæum, I will then turn my attention to the barbarians in the north. The barbarians up here and in Europe can basically form a confederation together, which is kind of interesting to see. I mean, it makes them a bit stronger. So instead of having 1 or 2 cities to focus, it's usually 3 or 4 times that much. I thought I had turned that. Okay. So, for those who are unfamiliar or who haven't played this game, there are many changes with the mod. Basically, all these unit icons look amazing. There is a lot more variety of unit based on the region you're in, and this view here well, I guess it doesn't really. Well, it does. So you can see Italia's right over here, but it doesn't quite show you the border. Then Magna Graecia, yada yada yada. Basically, every region, you can see it divided here with this double yellow line and this yellow and white line up here, because that's not controlled by me. If you click on a city, it shows you all the cities in the region. Typically, it's 4 cities, but oftentimes it's also only 3. We're going to start off by building a harbor and slowing down on the military front. That way we can generate some money. Money is a big issue early in the game, and it should hopefully improve. I guess I can't really build a whole lot right now. This army down here, Cornelius Scipio of the Legio I Italica, may not be the #1 army, but he's going to go on patrol because the the happiness factor down here in Magna Graecia isn't great, because I only own 2 of the cities. The other 2 are controlled by other people. While we are trading with the Syracusans, not everybody is willing to trade with us.
Speak plainly and without.
I pretty much know for a fact none of those guys will trade with me. But we'll try and trade with Carthage this time.
We'll find an attempt.
There we go. Now we got to trade with Carthage. It just popped their capital on the sea, because then I have trade boats going down there. They know, oh, hey, this is where the Carthaginians live. So that will help our income. Our navy right here.
Yes.
Apologize if there's any sort of graphical issues or lag. I've never recorded for this game before. We're going to move up here. Basically, we're going to use our tiny little navy here to explore the southern coast of France and Spain, looking to find new people like the Massilia, who should want to trade with us,
and speak.
because they have a
Have
high...
much to discuss, and perhaps much to agree.
I don't know if it's too loud either, but we'll see if we can eke some money out of them. 500 is not a lot. Probably could have asked for more, but their economy is weak. So the Massilia, you may have noticed, are a Greek faction that inhabit southern France. Something I never knew until playing this game, but apparently it's historically accurate. That little trade may allow us to squeak out one more Hastati. I apologize for butchering the pronunciations and names of everything. I have a little bit of a speech problem on occasion, which you probably have noticed in other videos. I could go into the history of that, but don't particularly feel like it. And I also did fail Latin in high school because of a learning disability. So I can always use that as an excuse for not being able to pronounce half of these names. I try to mimic what I hear the actual in-game voices yelling, like hoplite, instead of what I used to call them as hoplites. That's my very literal translation of what I see on the screen. So we can issue an edict. A lot more edicts in this particular version of the game than before. We'll do some commercial stimulation, increase our income just a little bit. There are 4 turns a year. Right now we're in the spring. It's going to change. That little symbol down there in the bottom right corner will change with the season to let you know what season it is, and your income will also change based on the income, because when it's essentially it's an agriculturally based economic system in this game, and at this time where your agriculture is basically what generates all your income and commerce and everything, and obviously you're not producing much during the winter as opposed to the spring or the summer. I believe there are maps that show the different effects. I know Italy is pretty much, in this sort of Mediterranean region, is pretty much immune to the winter. However, the northern reaches do get affected by the snow, when I do expand into Genoa, Venice, or Patavium, and there's a city right here which we haven't discovered yet. These passes, which you can kind of see through the clouds, I don't know if you can not move through them, but a little message pops up saying the passes have been closed by blizzards. You suffer some attrition when that happens. I guess I forgot to move my spy. I tend to forget to move my special units like that and my boat, just because they're not in my my tunnel vision in the center of the screen, because they're often doing what they're doing right now, and that's exploring. My spy is going to investigate what's happening down here. We've got a tidbit of money. We're just going to go with the cheap units for now. And those will be the last two I build. I want to try and keep my economy pumping money. We should see some little event messages pop up over Sicily, which are, I think, the only ones I've ever seen, other than when you have little political events or people to sacrifice and things like that. As we see here with Greece, the Athenians at the least, and potentially the Spartans, or the Epicurus, who are, so here's that thing I was just talking to you about, and apparently my voice has decided to go a little bit croaky. But yes, it does provide me with some interest, because I'm now going to move my army down here. The reason I'm doing this, to get our spy closer as well, is that it may have already happened, but I'm waiting for the Syracusans to move their army and basically sacrifice themselves, and then I can move into Syracuse unhindered. I may be a turn too late in this case, but not much I can do. We've got our harbor building. The reason I'm doing this first this time instead of doing the army was so that I can hopefully generate some income, because it upgrades the wealth and commerce and everything like that. So I think I need 2 more turns before I can actually reach Syracuse. So it looks like they are over the Carthaginians, who just have too big of an army for me to deal with right now, which is why I'm not going to go after Carthage. 1, 2. So I believe the Epicureans, which is probably not the right way to pronounce them, because that's a famous philosopher, Epicurus. But I believe, alright, so that they have 2 cities. See, if we're lucky, there'll be, nope.
Swift and silent.
So it looks like I'm basically well, being able to reach there is okay, but hopefully they don't build this army up on their next go. I'm hoping that they're crushed. Going back to the Epirus, so that's why Epirus, mispronouncing. They have 2 cities, while Athens and Sparta each have 1. The other province of Athens and Sparta is actually down here, is Knossos. If we click on Athens, well, it's called that, but that is the Knossos. So you actually have to, as Sparta, basically take Athens, and you kind of do as I'm doing with the Syracusans. You wait for Athens to throw its armies against the Epirus, and then you move into Athens. Even though that's a tough battle, because it's a large walled city, and it's one of the historical walled cities. So instead of being one of 3 or 4 generic designs, it's actually historically accurate somewhat, just like Rome would be. So that's always a tough battle as the Spartans. I'm going to sit on my money. As you can see, it's winter time, so I had 619. You may have just seen the number change as the season is changing. must have some sort of alliance with the Greeks or some sort of trade to be able to see what's going on with them. But as you see at the top of the screen, it goes fast, but that's all the other factions using their turn. So our agent's been discovered, no big deal. And peace has been negotiated. That's interesting. So this is the technology I just completed. And there we go, because I have army here. We'll declare war. They don't have any allies, nor do I. Normally I would auto-resolve a battle of this size, because, I mean, it's just going to be murder. But since you guys have not seen a battle here yet, we'll do this, and we'll try to do this rather quickly. So I'll probably speed it up. Basically, these maps are somewhat generic. I don't know how many different ones there are, but I think each region has its own sort of set, especially when it's a town. Obviously, this doesn't look anything like Syracuse does on the map. It's much bigger, but you know, this game is pretty old, so it's actually pretty good. Got nice sunny weather, so we'll start our deployment. Here's our army. Have to go through a pop field. As you can see, they don't look anything like Romans, like we know from history. Sure, they got the red color, but that's about it. So in this case, I know that the naval units of the Syracusans will come down literally and land right here, while their main army will start in this big open area and run back to defend here. So Group 1, you're going to be confused as to why I'm standing these guys over here. They're going to go over there. Group 2, we're going to have kind of follow the enemy army. Group 3, they're going to go along this road and go in that way. Wow. Group 4, I'll basically come in behind them after dealing with the archers over here.
General!
I'll stick the general with that group. This is not the kind of battle that I need to worry about his actual skills. And we'll send our slingers over here as well. So we'll send these guys. They'll take some attrition. For some reason they automatically run as their command. Send these guys here as well. The archers to back him, or not the archers, the slingers. And then here come the boats as predicted.
Advance at speed!
We'll speed things up, especially for this first battle. Basically, I don't want to get too close to the shore until the ships land, because their archers will, and I think I got too close. No, they're turning. Otherwise their archers will just pepper me and I can't really do much about it. So these guys are actually not going to attack them. They're going to march up there, while our cavalry is just going to go, our general's just going to murder. See, the archers trying to run. There ain't nothing you can do about heavy cavalry. Hopefully the frame rate isn't suffering. I wish I could turn the weather off in this game, because when it's raining and things, and there's tons of units, it can get a little bit chaotic. So I just trampled their food. Now we'll move these guys over here. We only want them to walk, or the units are getting there. So we'll just kind of run into position. They should have a time to recover. Yeah, they're responding. We'll slow it down a notch. See here, taking slings, but my guys are throwing javelins right back. And it looks like my slow units gonna kind of create a interesting thing there. These units don't really have anyone to oppose them. So we'll just go charging in on that side. And I guess I did not put anyone down there. Oops. No big deal. Not quite, so you know what? Oh yeah, I did have guys. I just forgot to move them. That's okay though. Turn these guys off skirmish mode, that way they don't try to run away from anybody. So they don't really have anyone defending here, which is great for me. Pressure on all their missile units. I wonder if it's because my slingers aren't facing the right way. There we go. So these guys who are a little slow to the party, they'll be a little bit tired. We'll just... oh yeah, see. Completely shatter their line there. Too many. I'm gonna slow it down a notch here. Their cavalry's trying to charge. And we create some Roman style sandwiches.
General! Forward! Move quickly now!
Send our general around. You can see here, filling up the entire road.
Levy! Yours to command. Your orders.
Attack order because they're not in skirmish mode. And then
Ready for duty.
there we go. Tagging a militia unit in the back. Not going to go well for them at all.
Commander.
Especially now that their general is about to die. He's on these horses here. My guys have spears, which, as we all know, spears and cavalry don't go together unless the cavalry actually have spears. But in this case, complete auto route. When you see their unit flags completely disappear, that means that unit's just essentially been destroyed.
General! Charge!
So now we'll send our general in, basically to mop up. Yeah, so they're trying to run away now. They're just gonna get hammered. Normally I might is there, nope. Turn their formation off. That way they can run a little bit better.
Principes!
Yeah. Very hard to run away through a unit.
General!
Alright, so we'll just speed this up. See, a pretty easy battle. I'm not going to attack Carthage. As you can see, only 100 losses, while and 6 of those were self-inflicted, as the enemy only killed 99. So it looks like some of my slingers may have overhit their mark or underhit their mark, and some friendly units, which is certainly a possibility in this game. Again, the mod adds all these cool little splash screens to all the loading screens that we see here. As you can see, it only was a 12-minute battle, so I'll probably end this particular video here and come back when I've repositioned to the north and start my unification of Italy battles.